Hello, it's Lou Collins. Today I've got a template for you. This is called the Curvy Pop-Up Card Template. I'm going to be creating this and I'm going to be using a new collection that's just been released on Craft Stash. This is called the Textures Wildflowers collection. So I'm going to be bringing this into this template. So hopefully you can see some different ideas for using this as well. So just pop that to the side. Let's focus on the template first of all. Now I've got two sheets here because I like to keep one fresh to look at, so I always print two off, and then I've got one that I can adhere to and cut into as well. So I'm going to take one here with my repositionable spray glue, and I'm actually going to be popping it onto a black cardstock. So just spraying over the back there where the template is. You don't need to do the full sheet. Pop that to the side, and then putting it onto a smooth black cardstock. This is actually the Creative Craft Products cardstock. I'm going to bring this down a little just so that I don't waste the strip of cardstock at the top, because I'll probably use that in a little while. So just glued that on, and now I just need to cut these three panels out. Now you can do that by hand if you've got some large scissors, which I have here, or you can actually use your trimmer, which, because these are nice straight lines, it's probably going to be just as easy to use the trimmer. So first thing I'll do is cut away that excess. With my Creative Craft Products trimmer, I've got both the cutting blade and the scoring blade on there. So I can do both of those with the same tool, not needing to bring my scoreboard into it. So I'm just going to go along all of the, what would be the horizontal lines as you look at it first of all. I'm actually going to just trim this away because that's a little bit sticky on the back there, and that's just catching onto my trimmer, so that makes this a bit easier. So pop that back in. Nice thick lines on this template so you can easily see them. If you are using something like a trimmer, I'd suggest just pop the line right in the centre of the groove, the guide there, on your scoreboard or your trimmer here. So just pop this in. Let's cut all of these out, both the top and bottoms and the side pieces. There, so now I've cut my three panels out. I now need to do the scoring. So the score lines are always the dotted lines. So I'm going to put my orange cutting blade up to the top of the trimmer and put my score line in the guide, and instead I'm going to use the white handled blade here. Just go into that, and I go over it a few times because I'm going through the paper template and the cardstock base underneath. Just turn that over and make sure you've got a nice score line in there. That's one, and I'm going to repeat that on each of these pieces as well. Just be sure you are using your scoring tool and not your cutting tool. There we go, so my three panels are now cut away, so I can take off the template, pop that along with my full template there, keep them all together. I could reuse these, I just wouldn't need to cut round them again, cut them out. So this is going to be the basis for your card. So a nice small card, but because it's a pop-up element, you're going to have a lot of dimension to it. So you don't want anything too big there anyway. Then we have, for the centre, we're going to have this piece. Now this has three score lines. The centre one is going to be a mountain fold, and the other two, it's entirely up to you. You could have these as valleys, or you can have them again as mountains. I prefer to have them as mountains so they're hidden. Okay, and we'll pop those in there and just place that there. And then on here as well, you also have another piece with two mountain folds. Tuck those in, and then these will also go onto your card. Now, I like to construct this while it's flat, but before I do that, I want to do my matting and layering. Now I have got some pieces already cut out. So these are pattern paper pieces that have come from the Textures Wildflowers papers. Now these are generic papers that you could use. They go really, really well with this collection, but they're also ideal to use with other things. So we've got things like rainbow coloured backgrounds and such in here. Some absolutely beautiful blends. Love that, deep colours, and that's one of my favourites at all. It's kind of a sunset there, but I've chosen to go for this one here, which is actually sort of like it's almost like a blurred image of grass and sky and sunlight, sun rays and things. So nice and bright. Now there's a reason I've used black for my card base, and I will run through that in a little while when we're constructing the card. You'll see why. But I've trimmed down these panels already using the template as a guide So hopefully these should fit just inside each of the panels that I've just cut, leaving a black border. The black border is important for the bit that I'm going to be doing in a moment, making sure that the blue is at the top because the blue is the sky, the grass is the green. There we go. And then I've got a piece here of just the green, and that's going to completely cover this bit. So I can lay that out flat. It's often easier to lay it out flat. Making sure that there's glue on the fold there, very important. Putting glue on the fold, that way you won't get that sort of lifting up as you fold it. So lay it all down flat, make sure it all sticks nicely, and make sure it dries before you try then refolding that. And this bit doesn't have a fold in it, but it does have a curve, or it will have a curve. So again, make sure all the edges are glued, but then also the center, very important to ensure that paper doesn't lift up and separate from the cardstock base. And that again is a green, sort of to represent the green, like a green meadow, I like to think of it as. Now these are dry, what I'm going to do is fold in the two black tabs there, fold them in and apply glue to the back of them. So one there and one there. You can use a wet glue, you could use something like red liner tape. I find wet glue in the long run holds much longer. Keep your panel flat, so the center crease, we don't want to be folding that, just the two side pieces folded down. And I'm going to place this, so the score line in the middle of this is over the score line in the middle of the card, raising it up about maybe 1 centimetre. That's optional, you don't have to raise it up at all if you don't want to. And just place that down so those tabs are sticking to either side. Again, give that just a moment to dry, and we're going to do the same with this one. Now, we don't have a crease line to line this up, but what we do have is almost the width of the card. Not quite, but almost. You could make this a little bit longer so it completely covered the width of the card if you wanted to. But again, keep those tabs folded in and underneath. Lay this directly over the top, lining it up with the coloured mats that you've just placed on, and press down at the ends there. So hopefully that is all dry. And as you gently open this up, what you're going to get is this one is folded, okay, and this one is curved. So you've got your curved pop-up. Lovely. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the dies, and it's going to be this one here. So this die creates a really lovely wildflower silhouette. You could colour it if you wanted to, but I want to leave it black, and that's why I wanted to keep the frame for this black, so it all kind of blends in. So what I'm going to do is take this piece of cardstock that we had remaining from when we did the template, and I'm going to cut myself one, maybe probably two of these, or one, and trim one down a little bit. So just grabbing my dies here, you see it's a decent size. I'm going to need one along there, but I'm also going to need a little bit more. I've actually got an offcut here from another project, so I'll probably use that just to complete the line there. So once you've cut that, you can place this down onto the base of that green. You just see how the black blends in nicely. The base of the flowers blend in perfectly with the frame of the card. So just a line of glue. I'm not going to put glue on any of the flowers. I kind of want them to kind of wibble a little bit, if wibble's even a word. Just place that down there, and then I'm going to take and trim this one so that that fits nicely as well. So just trim that just along there. We've even got another small piece I can use another time, and do the same, just a little bit of glue. Only gluing to this green panel across the bottom, which is the curved element. Any glue that's seeped through like that will it will just go clear as it dries, so don't worry about that. And you can see we're starting to get our wildflower meadow build up. Now we could add more of them into the background to this pop-up piece here, but what I'd like to add to that more is the dragonfly that's in here. So we've got this lovely dragonfly in here. And we can do this again, we can do this as a silhouette if we'd like to, but I think I'm going to do that in a nice bright colour. In fact, I'm going to take one of the papers. It's the dragonfly is a bit of a see-through effect, just because it's got all the gaps within the wings. So let's take this lovely bright colour here and let's cut it out with the pinks and purples. So I'm going right in the middle there. I don't know if I want to go, maybe, yeah, let's just go, I'm trying to decide on the colours, exactly where we're going to go. We want a bit of blue, a bit of purple, a bit of pink. So I'm going to go right into the centre of the paper, which is usually not something I do. I usually go to the edge, but I'm just aiming for the colours there, and I'm sure I could use the rest for other things. There we go. So we've got this lovely coloured, I'll just have to put this onto a piece of white for you so you can see this lovely multicoloured dragonfly, absolutely beautiful with all those different colours there, and very, very delicate. And that's going to just be sitting or balancing on the pop-up element of this card. So just like so. So I just need to work out exactly where I'm going to glue that. So I'm going to glue the tail and just a little bit around the tops of the wings on one side. So tiny bits of glue, don't need too much here, less is more, it will still stick. It's only a lightweight paper or lightweight cardstock. And then just lifting up these and popping that in. I'm going to place that down flat as best I can. There we go. I don't want any of these black leaves to stick to it, but I want to ensure it's stuck to the green panel there. There we go. Beautiful. So we've got that delicate butterfly, sorry, not butterfly, dragonfly in there bouncing around. Now lastly, we just need a sentiment. So for this, a sentiment can be, I mean, we've got so much within this collection. I've got the large sentiments here: birthday, love, the sky's the limit, wild and free, and time flies. These might be a little bit large for this, so I think what I will do is I will come to my stamps. I've got nature's canvas might work really well with this actually. Just pop nature's canvas at the top there. I'll probably stamp that onto a separate piece of cardstock, maybe even the green, just to match everything. So stamp that onto the green, and then cut that out. That light green will work in the top there perhaps. Let me have a play. I'll stamp that, cut that out, and then see how it's looking. So I decided that black and white for the sentiment actually made it stand out a bit better. You can see the shape there with the pop-up and the curve, hence the name, the curved pop-up card template. We've got a delicate dragonfly just in the centre there, and all those lovely wildflowers silhouettes at the front. Now, if you wanted to create kind of a cover for this, because it all folds flat, but you can't fold this in this way because this curve would end up having a bend to it. So you need to gift it laid flat. So if you wanted to provide a back to it that folds over, that might be nice to just protect the card, and it kind of opens up, and of course it will stand by itself as well. So check this out. That is the curved pop-up template from Craft World. It's free for you to download. Have a go at that, and we'd love to see whether you make this template and what you make of it over in the Inspiration Gallery.